Castle Goring, from Mickey, Aurora, and from me. Well, I am going to have some fun today, and hopefully you will as well. So I am going to plunge right in with what Silver Crow Song says. Hello, Lady C and pets. Woof woof. Meow. A gossip question. I just saw someone saying Netflix and Markle have completely cut ties as Was Never is able to stand on its own. Is this rumor true? Or did Netflix finally realize Meg's baby was a bad investment? Curious as to what your bongo drums are saying. Well, my dear, I haven't even needed to consult my bongo drums because I know the answer without consulting them. And I am not the only person who knows the answer. And I am going to actually read out one or two congratulatory comments and then answer it. Barbara McNeil says, kudos to the Netflix employee who wrote this hilarious blurb about the dumping of Markle. I laughed out loud. And Janet Stafford says, are Netflix having a laugh with that statement? Well, the fact of the matter is, my bongo drums in the past have told me that there were huge issues that arose as a result of the Netflix deal not living up to its promise, and Meghan being really awkward to work with, and Meghan flaunting herself and making demands and being cooperative and just an absolute nightmare. And Harry, who's less of a nightmare to deal with, but Harry is also Sahara where ideas are concerned. So he's a little bit more cooperative than Meghan. He will actually listen to what you say. But neither of them has an idea between the two of them. So Netflix, as I said last year, was getting ready to ease her out and cut ties with her. I didn't put it quite like that. I said they were going to ease her out and they were going to have some face-saving device that would make sure that everybody felt that everything was okay, but they will have cut ties with her, which is precisely what they have done. Now, Kate Manzi in yesterday's Times was really very interesting because, of course, the Times and the Sun are the same stable of newspapers, and she culled from the Sun that and quoted Meghan saying that she was happy to go it alone because she felt the streaming giant was, wait a second, too cautious. And as a result, they were holding the brand back. And a source told the Sun, let me quote, Meghan is still on good terms with the Netflix team and close personal friends with Ted Sarandos, so hasn't wanted to upset him, but is very happy to have full control of the company. It's a good time for Meghan to have complete control given, wait for it, recent successes. So now Meghan spells success Failure. Can you believe it? According to Meg's baby, Netflix have been a good partner, but she's wanted to go global with food stuff. Every territory has its own rules and regulations, but we're not even going to go there. go global with the brand for some time, but has been held back by the more cautious Netflix team. So it's all Netflix's fault that was never really proved to be was never, instead of being as ever more as she would have liked it to have been. I mean, if you can swallow that cock and bull, you can swallow anything. They have dumped her. They have done it nicely. They have tried to save her face. She is trying to not save their face. She is trying to blame them. Now, what does that tell me? And what does that tell you? Hopefully, it tells us the same thing, which is that their sweet Megsy baby has burnt yet another bridge. And yet another person is going to go, bye-bye, bye-bye. It wasn't nice knowing you. And please, let's pretend to be friends if the press is around, but otherwise, lose my number. Well, maybe Ted Sarandos has a stronger stomach than Bill Simmons had, and maybe he doesn't mind the amount of money that Megsy Baby has cost Netflix, because certainly Bill Simmons minded the amount of money that she had cost Spotify. But I suspect that we're going to see a lot less of Megsy Baby and Bill Sarandos, notwithstanding the fact that there has been a great deal of solidarity due to Meghan's little bit, as they'd say in Jamaica, a little bit, just a little bit, a touch of the tar brush. Well, of course, Ted Sarandos is married to a black woman, not a brown woman, not a pale-skinned woman of colour passing for white. A black woman. Is racial solidarity going to last past this embarrassment? Let's wait and see if there are any photographs of them out and about, because somehow it seems as if a parting of the ways means a parting of the ways, and they're no more going to be flying around with the Sarandoses than they will ever be again with George Clooney and Amal Clooney. Patricia Menefee says, sorry about that. It seems to me that Meghan's target market is the upper class, not the lower classes, because she views her offerings as superior to ordinary goods. Patricia Menefee, very interesting observation. I'm afraid I can't agree. No upper class person in their right mind would buy Meghan's produce. It is inferior in quality, overpriced, arriviste, and pretentious. And most upper class people, at least the ones I've always known and mixed with, understand the value of money, unless they have a personality problem, in which case they flash their money around. Most of them understand the value of money. As both my father and Aristotle Onassis used to say, whenever anybody says this is only $30 or only $30,000, you know you're dealing with somebody who A, has no money, and B, has no respect for money. People with money never say the word only in relationship to money, ever. No, I think her target audience is actually most likely not poor white people. I think it's poor people of colour, or semi-prosperous people of colour, shall we say lower middle class, upper working class people of colour, who have a few dollars to spare occasionally and want to bathe in the splendour of the Black Duchess, the one who, remember, said, "Nobody ever called me black until the British press did. They called me black." Just an opinion rarely says, "It has occurred to me that Ted Sarandos regretted the deal but was bound with a 5-year contract. He went along to pacify the wife while at the same time using her as PR, knowing he was not going to renew the contract and thereby avoiding a lawsuit." Well, just an opinion, really. That is certainly a valid interpretation of his conduct. My understanding is that the board, most of the board, was desperate to get rid of her. She was toxic, not only in financial terms, but in reputational terms, and they didn't want to be associated with the failure. But she was his baby, and he was arguing for a soft landing, which has been achieved. He was also arguing for a soft landing because he did not want his position to be on the line. He had been the primary pusher of Meghan, and therefore her failure could have splashed back adversely upon him and his position in the company. So, was it kindness or was it self-preservation? I don't know what you think, but I opt for self-preservation. Hang in laundry says, "Drunken, high, fair weather party buddies have loose lips." Can see that again. "I'm sure Harry was a good time, but not loved by his party mates. Harry could likely be a capricious pain in the arse and piss these same friends, in quotation marks, off. No doubt they would talk and share the inside scoop." Of course they talked. Harry was a pothead. Harry was what they call in Britain a P artist. I'm not going to use the word, but it's a 4-letter word and ends in is. Of course they talked. I mean, let me put it this way. Harry went to a wedding in Jamaica. I'm Jamaican. The wedding was in Jamaica. Within 48 or 72 hours of that wedding taking place, I knew rather more than I wished to know at the time about the wedding. And this was before Harry and Meghan were married. This was when Harry was popular and when people liked Harry and when associating with Harry was prestigious, and there was going to be a nice glow that everybody surrounding him was going to emanate as a result of his association with them. Believe me, the likelihood is that Harry and his cronies and some of the girlfriend's cronies, but fewer. Because you see, both Chelsea Davy and Cressida Bonus behave correctly, and their friends are actually far more grounded than Harry's friends were. And let's remember, Cressida Bonus is from a very grand family. And yes, they would have been delighted for her to be the Duchess of Sussex if she was going to be happily married. I think I might have mentioned before that her mother, Mary Gay Curzon, Lady Mary Gay Curzon, and my stepbrother-in-law, Bran Sweeney, Margaret Argyle's son, at some point nearly got married. And I mean, that's Cressida's world. Very, very grand. And they're not that impressed with the royals. They're far less impressed with the royals than Arrivists are. And they're far less impressed with the royals than people who can profit and benefit from a relationship with the royals would be. So Chelsea Davy also mixes in a very pucker crowd. And that world really doesn't leak that much and doesn't chat that much. They're not into impressing people with whom they know, because they know practically everybody. So yeah, it's a nice string to their bow. Now, a lot of Harry's friends, not all, some were from very, very grand backgrounds, but others really weren't. Now, I'm not saying that everybody leaked, but I know Harry would have leaked like a sieve, because Harry could never keep his mouth shut. And Harry was always a show-off. So let's leave it at that. MLL44 says, I abhor Harry, but I wonder if Sherborne will be allowed to walk away unimpacted by his use of the private eye Borough's fake statement. Sounds like potential malpractice to me. Well, I have covered this before. Yes, you are right. If it emerges that David Sherborne helped to orchestrate the misuse of Gavin Burroughs, and that statement was effectively a creation of theirs, he could end up losing his practice certificate. He could end up being tried for an attempt to pervert the course of justice and uttering a forgery as a lawful document. If, these are all big ifs, but very often what happens is, if they absolutely can't prove something, or if the judges take the view that a criticism of a fellow member of the legal profession will bring the whole profession into disrepute and will undermine public confidence in the justice system, they will massage things away. That's what they will do. They often do it. I know of lawsuits where people should have won, but because it involved banks and the police and or the legal profession, as indeed happened with me in 1999, when I was being royally taken for a ride by a certain firm of solicitors. And notwithstanding the fact that I think I won 11 out of 13 points, the judge made sure that I paid most of the costs. Why? The favour that one shark does to another. Colleagues sticking together. Also, as my barrister said to me, he said, Cook, the judge's name was Roger Cook, and he had worked with my brother and for my brother, and my brother used to mock him and call him the Great White Hope, and they ended up falling out pretty significantly. And he found, on the most spurious of grounds, that in favour of, on the 1.5 points, that he was able to find that there might have been a little bit of room for doubt. So that meant that I should have got 11.5 out of 13 of all our costs. But no, he made sure that he stuck me with the other side's costs. So will Sherborne end up suffering consequences? Only if it becomes so glaringly obvious that he has been the architect of what is effectively a fraud and a deception, will he suffer any consequences. If there is the slightest room for doubt or the possibility of sort of fudging the issue, it will be fudged. I am pretty sure, because that's how judges function. It does not do a judge's future career any good to have brought down contumely on the head of any significant member of the legal profession. Let us wait and see what happens, because if it is obvious that David Sherborne did indeed commit what you call malpractice, and it's far more serious than that, it's far more serious than malpractice. But if it turns out that he was the architect of or collusive in the fabrication and the utterance of a forgery into the court system as a lawful document, he could end up going to prison. I've said it before, but let's wait and see what happens. The case needs to spin out. Caroline Roberts says, has anyone seen the absolute hypocrisy of David Furnish and his repugnant partner, Elton John, flaunting themselves, the two sons, in their home, one of many, in the Daily Mail paper? Is it so the Mail's legal team go easy on them? I don't think so. The Daily Mail's legal team is not going to be going easy on either Elton John or David Furnish. Elton John and David Furnish are famous. The photograph is actually a part of an exhibition of the photographer Catherine Opie, To Be Seen, is the name of the exhibition at the National Portrait Gallery. One of her photographs is of Elton John and David Furnish and their two sons. And I'll quote what they have said. They issued a statement. To have our family photographed by Catherine Opie and on display at the National Portrait Gallery is a huge honour. We are huge admirers of her work and proud to have her beautiful and poignant images in our collection. So now we know how they ended up being there. They have given the game away. They have bought photographs of themselves with her. They commissioned her to do photographs of them. And so it's a win-win situation for him and for her. They're famous. They help her, she helps them, and they are honored, as they put it, with the photograph being displayed in the National Portrait Gallery. And of course, the Mail is going to run with it. Why wouldn't it run with it? Of course, it should run with it. It's the only thing that it should do. It's a newspaper. That's news. It's trivial news, but it's valid news. Believe me, they're not going to be going easy on David Furnish and Elton John in court. Absolutely not. If they can knock them out of the running, they being associated newspapers, they will knock them out of the running quicker than you or I could say boo. So, is it absolute hypocrisy of David Furnish and Elton John? No, they have no control over whether the Mail is going to run this story of them or not. It's, in fairness to them, it's beyond their control. So there's no hypocrisy there. On either side, really. That's the way of the world. And on that note, I'm going to say, I hope you have found this enjoyable. Please let me know in the comment section what ground you would like us to be covering so that I can actually cover it. Okay? Thank you. And if you have truly enjoyed this, would you care to like, share, subscribe, press the notification bell, and take good care. Oh, I forgot, and hype if you can. Keep on forgetting. At least now I remember the word hype. Great progress, isn't it? Thank you so much. Godspeed. Bye-bye.